You're listening to Podcast PXN,
a video game podcast
delivering player experience news.
Let's go!
It is April 19th, 2023, and I ask everyone, is gaming back? And welcome to Podcast PXN, episode 187. I am one of your hosts, the perennial dating app swiper from Portland, Oregon, Christian Macias, and I'm joined over Discord by Kentucky's #1 Spartan, Aloha, and PXN founder, Daniel Prindle, I don't know, aka Dan is DTM.
Aloha.
I don't know why I did it, but it felt right. And, ladies and gentlemen, stand up, salute, the president of the Tifa Lockhart fan club. He is the Nintendo aficionado and artist extraordinaire at Roro.
Hello, hello. Speaking of Aloha, did you hear Lilo and Stitch is getting a live action remake?
I don't want to talk about it. It. There's a lot of stuff in the film TV space I do not want to talk about.
God.
Peak one of them, the Twilight reboot that Ro just absolutely ruined my day with.
I'm sorry.
Gage is noticeably missing today. He could not make it, alas. Not alas. However, he will be here again at some point down the line.
He will return.
Gage will return, MCU style. Folks, thank you to everyone watching us live and participating in the chat. Just as a reminder, we are live each and every Wednesday. We haven't missed one yet at 8 p.m. Eastern. On YouTube, just search Podcast PXN. You can also find us at twitch.tv/podcastpxn. The topic of the show this week is the race for Game of the Year 2023. There are 2 games we're going to be discussing in TOTS. Actually, 3 of them. But that's not to say there aren't going to be more games in conversation when we discuss that down the line. But first, the show always starts with the quick bites. So let's go ahead, jump right in. Item number 1. Congratulations, Koji Kondo. The Super Mario Brothers theme. Oh, jump. You get it? Because Mario jumps. The Super Mario Bros. Theme is the first game music selected for preservation in the Library of Congress. I have to read something here from the quote here. From the article, because it's actually pretty interesting. For those of you that don't know, the Library of Congress selects dozens of stuff across all medium that they think is culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant and or informs or reflects life in the U.S. So one of these now is the Super Mario Brothers theme. It's the first music. But listen to this. Other sound recordings chosen for inclusion this year include Imagine by John Lennon, Starway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin, Take Me Home Country Roads by John Denver, Like a Virgin by Madonna, All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey, and Sweet Dreams Are Made of This by the Eurythmics. Here's what's cool though. While the National Library already has a vast sound collection of nearly 4 million items, the recordings selected for the registry, of which there are now a total of 625, are considered so important that they must be permanently preserved. Every year, only 25 are chosen to that. So Mario, being one of the 25, extremely, extremely significant. Congratulations.
Hell yeah. Congrats.
Yes.
Humble plumber from Brooklyn. That is awesome. I hope, I mean, I don't know. I'm thinking like what other video game tracks would be so important to U.S. culture that they would add them as well. But I mean,
go ahead and say it, Dan.
Halo right here.
Nobody answered my
Pretty
question.
good one.
Sorry.
That is a good one. So last week or this week on our Twitter chat, I said, have you boys ever gotten together with people in high school or middle school, like in when you were younger, and sung the Halo theme song together? It's
I'm
a pretty
sure
like
Dan
boys bonding
No?
experience.
No, definitely not. No.
I was definitely one of the people who watched from the sidelines. Like I observed those situations.
I feel like I'm only a little bit older than you guys, but gaming was like not as well accepted as it is, I feel like as time has gone on, it's gotten more accepted. So that was kind of my closet hobby,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Before we move on, do you think we could do it all 3 of us together over Discord, or would there be a delay?
Oh, we could do it. Yeah.
On go. 3,
I'm gonna sing the
2, 1, go. This is terrible. I can't commit.
That's good enough.
It was a good start. It was a good start.
Yeah. Moving on. Shuhei Yoshida added to the PlayStation Stars. Remember that? Shuhei Yoshida was added to it as a digital collectible. So if you're on PlayStation and have the PS app and are doing these stuff, you can now collect Yoshida to display on your virtual shelves. Only on the app, though.
Only on the app. He's a cute little bobblehead in this one, I'm pretty sure. I think I saw it on Twitter. But yeah, as Christian said, there's very few people that I know of, at least, going out of their way to do these. But
do you have the app, bro?
Oh, damn, I do have the app.
Only on the app until they bring back PlayStation Home. Boom.
Is that what they're
will they do that? I don't know if they will.
No, they will.
What level are you, Ro?
I am, I would say, 3/4 way through level 3.
I am the exact same.
Yeah. I'm almost at level 4, but I'm not really doing anything. I don't know how I got there, but here we are.
I don't
Every so often they have like a challenge where it's like play a PlayStation game that literally everyone has. I'm like, oh sweet. I guess I'll inch closer to level 4 so I can get that sweet customer service that everybody's been getting at level 4.
Oh, they added like tiers, almost like Destiny, where they have like uncommon, heroic, rare for like the collectibles. There's like colors to them.
Exotic collectibles.
Imagine. Anyway, let's move on. I put this one actually for Gage.
Nope,
but he's not here. But Dan, as a new fan of Diablo, can say this. I'm kidding, Dan. Diablo 4's seasons will consist of a battle pass that will take around 80 hours to complete. Furthermore, hold on, Dan. Furthermore, story content isn't at the level of a fully fledged new campaign. It's been confirmed in that battle pass. But still, 80 hours to complete is sizable content and should last you a good while.
Yeah, there's no way in hell I'm gonna be able to do this. So, yeah, we'll see what happens in terms of if I'll buy the battle pass or not. Probably not, because I'll probably be struggling to just beat the base game as it is, because I know how long Diablo 3 was for me. But yeah, we'll see. I'm very excited for Diablo 4 though. I love Diablo 3. It was my first game in the series. Fantastic. Pulled Gage in. Don't let him lie to you. He didn't pull me in. I pulled him in. So
you pulled him. The hammer pulled you off. That's a Ragnarok joke. I don't know why I'm thinking about MCU.
When you said Ragnarok, I thought Thor of God of War.
God of War.
Yeah.
Sorry, I should have clarified.
Yeah.
Another pristine that doesn't sound right. Another big figure in the games industry had a moment this week. Hidetaka Miyazaki from Software, named one of the 100 most influential people of 2023 by Time magazine. Neil Druckmann actually had a little blurb to write when he nominated Miyazaki, and I'm gonna be honest, it's not a very good blurb, but I'm gonna read it to you anyway. Naughty Dog co-president Neil Druckmann wrote, "The first time I played one of Miyazaki's games, I was miserable. I kept dying on the first enemy over and over again. But when I slowed down my approach, paying attention to the details, it all of a sudden clicked. I managed to defeat the enemy and advance further into the game. I earned my progress and felt a sort of rush. As I moved forward in the game, I was much more deliberate and careful in how I explored this world. And in return, the world rewarded me with tension, beauty, and surprises." Pretty general description of just playing a game, in my opinion. Doesn't really describe like why Miyazaki is so important. But there you have it. Miyazaki in 2023's most influential people of 2023.
Congratulations, sir. Well earned.
When will ISO Christian be next? We ask. We can't go a week without discussing the Activision Blizzard deal that Microsoft is trying to, or will soon. We will have some news on that, I think, this month or next. However, Tom Warren spotted this out in London. Microsoft is now running digital ads for its Activision Blizzard acquisition at some London tube stations. It comes a month after placing a full-page ads in now at 2 UK newspapers, and ahead of the CMA's decision on the deal later this month. The ad reads, "Call of Duty for 150 million more players. Looks like they're pretty positive it's going through if they're running ads for it.
Oh yeah, it would suck if it didn't go through at this point, especially with, like you said, publishing the ads and stuff. But yeah, it seems like everyone seems to be saying that this is inevitably finally coming to a close, and we may be able to go a week without talking about them very soon. But yeah,
be rid of Bobby Kotick finally. Maybe.
God, oh, that is the cherry on top. My God,
hopefully,
I hope yeah.
Inshallah, Kotick leaves. Some bad news here, everyone. You may have seen this already. Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, Rocksteady's next game, the first since Batman Arkham Knight, has been delayed to February 2nd, 2024. That is a pregnant delay of now, I think, 9 months from its original release date. And reportedly, they're working on removing the always online component, which would be good. However, a lot of our complaints was, is this game actually going to be fun? Because it doesn't look very fun. We shall see.
We shall see. I hope they are able to turn it around the gameplay wise, because again, like, I thought the story side of things looked cool, and that happens a lot with these type of games where it's like, oh, that's a cool story. And I look at what I'm actually playing for the majority of the time, it's like, damn it, I don't think I could do that. So yeah, I don't know if this is I could be wrong, because I know game development goes down to the wire a lot. So maybe this is enough time to change some things, but only time will tell, I guess.
That's true. Let us not forget. Oh, sorry, Dan. You have a joke.
I was just gonna say, rest in peace, Rocksteady.
Oh no,
because I don't think.
Damn, already, huh?
I don't know. This game hasn't done very well. I don't know. Although I will say, to be in complete fairness, I wasn't as big on the Guardians of the Galaxy game pre-launch, and then it came out with good reviews, and then I played it and I loved that game. So maybe something like that'll happen.
I think I enjoyed playing that game too. It lasted a bit too long for my taste, but yeah, I did enjoy it. And Ro's right, like, game development does go down to the wire. Let us not forget that literally the week before Naughty Dog showed off The Last of Us for the first time, they said, like, they had finally found the fun, because up until that point, they did not find the game fun to play at all. Crazy. Moving on. We have another high person from a video game studio leaving, this time on the Sony side. Media Molecule co-founder and Dreams director Mark Healy has left the studio. This comes just a little bit less than a week after the studio revealed it would be ending support for Dreams in September. We're going to be curious to see where Healy goes next, but it's a bummer the way Dreams kind of panned out on the Sony side. A lot of people have been saying should have came to PC as well, would have been huge, and I think I agree.
Definitely. Yeah, I don't see this as, and I assume he doesn't see it the same way. I don't see this as a Dreams failure and Mark's failure, but more like Sony's failure for not supporting it and putting it on different places. Because I feel, if anything, this is Sony's loss, losing this guy, not the other way around. So I hope he does do some cool stuff in the future somewhere else, because Dreams was cool. It just didn't get the support it needed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like they had originally said that this game was going to be like a creation engine for other games, and we didn't really get the precipice of that because it didn't come to PC, where a lot of those types of creators are. So, yeah.
And I think I don't know if you guys talked about this last week, but I think they mentioned in the actual announcement when they said that Dreams was going to end service, that the Media Molecule is going to work on something else. I think I just read that somewhere. So
yes,
number of reasons why Healy might have left, just creative differences in the upcoming projects. So we shall see. Big news for you, Sonic freaks. Looking at you, bro. Paramount Plus's Knuckles begins production in London. The series has cast Adam Pally, Tika Sumpter, woo, I didn't know that, Eddie Patterson, Kid Cudi, aka Scott Mescudi, Julian Barrett, Billy Taylor, Rory McCann, and in addition, of course, to the titular Knuckles, Idris Elba. Jeff Fowler is directing the pilot episode, and it takes place between Sonic 2 and Sonic 3. The official logline is Knuckles agrees to train Wade as his protege and teach him in the ways of the Echidna warrior. I don't remember who Wade is. I'm not gonna lie to you.
A lot of people did not remember who Wade was. I saw so many people be like, "Who the fuck is Wade?" But Wade is one of the cops, like the main guys. Who I'm forgetting his name now. Who was more in the movie than Wade was, but he was one of the cops' partners in the second movie. If I'm remembering correctly. So he's a human character. But yeah, I'm like you said, I'm a Sonic freak. I'm down for anything Sonic most of the time, so I will be there to watch this, even if it's not that good. But I have a feeling that it'll be fun, at the very least.
Yeah, I'm with you, Ro. I'm joining.
Thank you.
We got to go fast.
Gotta go fast.
Yeah, to the cancellation page. Am I right, fellas?
No.
The problem is Gage is in here, so we outvote you, Christian, 2-1.
Yes.
My vote holds 2 because I have a movie podcast, so we're tied.
Fair.
I'm kidding. For those of you who played Hogwarts Legacy and were wondering where is Quidditch, because Quidditch is not in Hogwarts Legacy, Warner Brothers has an answer to you in the form of a standalone game. The tagline for this is insane. I'm not going to read the tagline. You can go ahead and read this your own. You can do your own research. But however, Warner Brothers Games releasing Harry Potter Quidditch Champions, and you can now sign up for play tests now on their website, quidditchchampions.wbgames.com.
Which is this why Quidditch wasn't in Hogwarts Legacy?
That's literally what I just said.
I know, probably. I'm just agreeing with you.
I agree with you. We agree with each other. Nice. Cool. Nothing more to add. Harry Potter. They're doing a TV spinoff. Can you believe that? And they're keeping everything.
I can believe that. God.
Glenn's going to be playing this game though.
The playtest or the actual finish or final release?
Probably both.
Probably maybe both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe both. Remember Horizon?
Yes.
Don't worry, everyone else doesn't either. I'm kidding. When do you think the DLC Forbidden Shores is coming out?
It's out already because it's in my fantasy critic.
It's not. It's out next week.
Oh. The reviews are out.
The reviews are out.
Ahead of Forbidden Shores. Is it Forbidden Shores? Is it Burning Shores? It's Burning Shores. I'm sorry. Shores. Ahead of the Burning Shores DLC, Horizon has released a slew of accessibility features. Let me run you down a few of these, including enlarging subtitles, auto pickup, which is huge. Picking up stuff in that game was kind of a pain. Color blindness settings, auto camera, and navigation assist and focus mode. Actually, that's not it. I'm missing one. The biggest one. They added thalassophobia mode. Thalassophobia is fear of deep waters. So what they did to make people with thalassophobia more at ease is that they increased ambient visibility underwater, and they allowed Aloy to breathe indefinitely underwater, regardless of story progression.
Christian, it's out today.
Oh,
you're lying.
I'm dead serious. Dead serious. It launched today, which is a weird day.
Fact check me live.
No,
really?
I was reading the article and it says which launches for PS5 on Wednesday. I'm like, today's Wednesday. What do you mean? So then
hey, look, man, this is my point. None of us knew. I mean, you knew.
That's fair.
But
no, I didn't know. I just saw the reviews. Actually, I believed you when you said next week. So
Gorilla just can't catch a break, man.
Yeah.
God. I want to love Horizon so much. I want to go back to it because it's just so gorgeous. I'm looking at the launch trailer. I was like, how is that possible? Yeah. How do games look this good? And the flying in the sky things, I would love to explore that, but I have to play everything else to get to this. I don't know. Yeah. Can you just jump into?
No,
you probably can't.
You have to play the whole campaign. Yeah.
Which
yeah.
is a lot for me. because I think Kurik is one of those people who really enjoyed Horizon. But yeah, it didn't hook me, but I cannot with good conscience not say how beautiful this game is. It's insane.
Kurik knows, by the way. He says, yeah, man, it's out now. Today.
I'm playing it as we speak.
Yeah.
But I will not apologize and when I say that when I saw a clip of this on Twitter, I was like, damn. Fidelity wise, this game looks absolutely stunning. I will never play it. I will never play it. I mean the DLC.
I haven't even finished the campaign, so I can't play it, you know?
Sorry, Gorilla.
Sorry.
We've got 3 Nintendo stories to kill off the quick bites. Top of it, some good news. Jack Black's, from the Mario movie, Peach's song enters Billboard's Top 100 in the US, to which I say, what is wrong with you people?
Peaches.
Why are you streaming this?
Because it's one of the greatest
kids, maybe?
songs of all time. Perhaps.
Oh,
That
come
might be
on. You don't love a good
it's a
Jack
Baby
Black
Shark
song?
situation.
Yeah.
No, don't say yeah.
Listen, it was cute. They did it once in the movie, and then they did it twice, and I was like, okay, they're doing it again. And then everywhere I look on my Twitter feed, it's just peaches. Enough.
Enough is never.
People are
enough.
saying this is like in contention to get nominated for an Oscar. Shut up. Shut up.
God.
Who's gonna beat it though? You know.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
The live action Jack Black in the Bowser suit doing this, that's a good bit. That's a good bit. I like it.
I love Jack Black. He's so great.
Who doesn't? He's so good. He was a good Bowser too.
Yes. Yeah, by the way, Christian, that's another compliment for last week's suggestion for us to do the Mario movie review. Because as we realized live on the air, I was the only one that had seen Mario movie at that point.
You're lying.
I'm dead serious. And I didn't realize that until, yeah.
I thought you had all seen it when I suggested it. No one
I
said anything on Twitter.
I know.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Okay, here's my Mario movie review. Had a great time with my friends watching it. Not a good movie. Still enjoyed. Still was fun. Next bit.
It's unfortunate that the official Podcast PXN review is my review because I was the only one who saw it.
Then I apologize. And speaking of the Mario movie, the Super Mario Brothers movie has crossed $725 million at the worldwide box office, and it is on track to cross 1 billion. Huge. I do not think Spider-Verse sequel will do numbers like this. This is absolutely astronomical.
Huge. Yeah, I don't think so either. But yeah, that's awesome. Animation, forever amazing. Best genre or best medium, I should say. Crazy.
Thank you for the correction.
Yeah.
So
I get those two mixed up sometimes, even though I meant to say medium. Oh well.
Does this mean that Nintendo's going to keep working with Illumination to make their other projects, or do you think they're going to try to spin it to other studios to work on it as well?
If you want more thoughts on this, please listen to this week's Large Popcorn podcast. Where we talked about this.
Well, there you go.
No, I'm kidding. I won't self-plug like that. Dan, that's a great question. And my answer to that is hopefully, it seems like Mario is the brand for them, not Nintendo. And if that's the case, I think 1,000% you're right. They do stick with Illumination because they look at the numbers. They pretty much nailed it.
Yeah.
I would like more depth story-wise, but people are just going out and having fun, taking their kids, and that might be enough for them. So
definitely. God,
right.
I hope the day eventually comes where we get Japanese studios like making Zelda animes. Like it doesn't even have to be a movie. It could just be like a short film, just like a day in the life of a Link or something.
And that already exists, Ro. It's called any Studio Ghibli movie.
True. Princess Mononoke.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dan wouldn't know. Dan hates anime.
I like Ghiblis. Lots of them. Yeah.
Really?
Ghibli.
Yeah. Last Nintendo news we've got for you. This is insane, dude. What an insane story. In case you want more evidence that like billion-dollar companies don't actually like you, Nintendo is keeping a man in poverty for the rest of his life. Granted, do they have justification for that? Maybe. What's his name? Gary Bowser? I think his name was Gary Bowser.
No, it's not. Is it really?
It is. Yeah. Feels like, of course it is. It was something Bowser for sure. I don't remember his first name, but it was definitely Bowser was his last name.
Gary Bowser, who was a Nintendo hacker, who I have to open another article, who was the apparent leader of the hacking group Team Executor, and I had to read up on like what they were doing. They were making basically like software that you could like buy to like put on your Switch to let you like bypass security, get games, whatever, you know, piracy essentially. To which Nintendo, I gotta read this number here. Nintendo was at the time before he was arrested was seeking $2,500 for each traffic device, in addition to $150,000 for each copyright violation. So think about that's one device. Think about how many games that person is getting on that device. Think about how much money in total, right? It's a lot of money. So essentially, after he got arrested, the figure was around $14 million, I think I read somewhere. It might have been a bit more. Whatever. He was arrested. He was in prison for a while. And now he's been released from prison due to good behavior. However, Nintendo will now be taking 25 to 30% of his income for the rest of his life. The rest of his life. 30% of your income. That is more than taxes.
Jesus.
A third of your fucking money.
I'm not an attorney, but I wonder if he could like declare bankruptcy or something and like somehow find a way to avoid it.
Probably.
Yeah.
Someone more smarter than me could probably figure that out. Because you're right. That would help. But still.
Yeah, that's
he's
insane.
never going to pay this off. So it's just like, okay, I'm in debt to Nintendo until I die.
Yeah. Someone in the comments, I have to read this on this article, says, "So long, Gary Bowser."
Yeah, on Reset Era. Yeah,
that's good. That's good.
That's
that's insane. I mean, like you were saying at the beginning of this, like, do they have a right to enforce legal action on this guy? Sure, but like, as we were discussing in the podcast DMs, I believe that there's a level of stupid, and I don't think this level of stupid deserves this punishment. Like, there are crimes that deserve this punishment that don't get this punishment. You know, it's crazy.
Like, I'm sorry. I think about the guy. I've been thinking about this poor 16-year-old this whole week. I had to bring it up. A guy got the wrong house in the U.S. trying to look for his brother. His phone was dead. The man sees this guy. Shoots him in the head without saying anything, walks outside and shoots him again.
Just to make sure.
The cops get this guy, get his statement, and then want to get the victim's statement. 2 hours later, the guy that shot this dude is released.
Yeah.
What is essentially a hate crime. This guy gets off scot-free. This man who sold want to play more video games for free is now in debt for the rest of his life.
It's crazy. And the craziest part for me is that it's Nintendo. It's not like some Joe Schmo on the street. They have enough money to be okay with this. I understand being like, hey, we could have made that money ourselves. But I don't know. It's like, you're not losing that much. It's just,
they'll be fine.
Let them off with, they'll be fine either way. Yeah.
And he served the prison sentence, so it's like, in my opinion, I feel like the prison sentence should have, warranted the punishment where it's like, all right, I'm not doing this again. I don't want to go to jail for another 2 years. But like, maybe implement this money thing if he does it again. But like, why the first time? Like, I don't know.
Or something more, man. I don't know.
This is definitely going to scare a lot of people in the future, though. They're going to definitely think twice about doing it. And I think that's exactly what Nintendo wants. But it's just like, it just sucks to be the guy that had to be the example. Or an example that didn't need to be placed in the first place. But unfortunately, Nintendo believed it did. So that just sucks all around.
Do not mess around and find out with Nintendo, because they will get your ass. Don't even upload a YouTube video with Nintendo video games on it. They'll get your ass. That's it for the quick bites. Hope you enjoyed. No street meat to run over. Instead, we're going to continue our Nintendo news over in PXN News of the Week. This morning, there was a Nintendo Indie World Showcase, which I completely missed. And no one on my timeline was talking about it. I had to see a tweet about one of the game's release dates getting confirmed. I'm like, whoa, out of nowhere. Turns out it was from the showcase. Bro, you watched live?
I did watch. I want to say live, but I was definitely doing something at the same time it was on in the background, and I was kind of like half paying attention. But I think I got the gist of it. Plus, Wario 64 always has me covered.
Sure. And what did you think of the Indie World Showcase? Top level thoughts, real quick. Did you enjoy it? From what you paid attention to?
I enjoyed it. I guess I wasn't expecting that much, but at the same time, I there wasn't any. It's an Indie World Showcase, so I guess I shouldn't expect any get hype moments. But there was very few games that I got to add to my list, which is something that I usually get out of these. At least it's like, oh, a nice little gem that I could add to my wish list. And I didn't have many new ones. There were a lot of games that I've heard of before from past indie showcases that like have been on my list, and I was excited to get those updates, like the Crypt of the
Necrodancer.
Another Crypt game. Yeah, that one, I love their games, so I'm excited for the new one. And of course, we'll talk about the other ones. I don't want to spoil the list that we got going on. But yeah, there wasn't very much for me at this one, but it was still a solid show.
I won't go through everything, but if you want to go through the rundown, you can watch the Nintendo showcase on YouTube, or you can. I'm pulling from Nintendo Life. They've got a full rundown on all the games. I'm not going to go over everything again. I will go over some highlights that I saw as I was like putting the show together. One is called Quilts and Cats of Calico, which is essentially what looks like Risk, but you play with as cats making a quilt. So if you're into cats and Risk, there you go. As Ro mentioned, Rift of the Necrodancer though looks pretty awesome. I have never played. I didn't play Crypt. I know there was like a. Is there a Zelda?
Yeah, it's called Cadence of Hyrule.
Which I heard was great.
I didn't beat
Rift
it,
of the Necrodancer
looks
good
too. Yeah.
Got it.
This one seems a little bit more up my alley than even the other ones that they've made. It's like it's a mix of the Wario rhythm game I'm blanking on, and like Guitar Hero and Everhood, which is another rhythm game that came out a while ago. Yeah, and the art style.
WarioWare is what you were thinking of.
WarioWare, yes.
A lot of DLC was announced too. A little to the left gets DLC. Cupboards and Drawers DLC. If you want more of that, have at it. Also, Shovel Knight gets a DLC. Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon, which I think is like a puzzle. Yeah, it's like a match. What do you call it? Like a match 3 or whatever, or like a Tetrisy kind of game. So very different for them, but still pretty cool.
And, did you mention Cult of the Lamb also got a DLC?
I was about to.
Oh, sorry.
What's next? Yeah, Cult of the Lamb, Relics of the Old Faith. I'm kind of done with my time with Cult of the Lamb, but still, like if people who are like into it want more, this looks pretty cool as well. My personal kind of favorite was Animal Well. I don't know who the developer of this game is, but like everything about it kind of seems up my alley for sure. It almost looks a little bit spooky. It's a 2D side scroller kind of game, very dark, atmospheric, but still pretty cool.
I think the developer was one guy. According to this picture, it might be Shared Memory LLC. I'm not sure who that is, but I definitely know that the publisher is Big Mode, which is, we talked about it a while ago. Donkey, the YouTuber, made like his own indie publishing thing, and this is the first game I think to be published by them, which is I guess I don't know how we feel about Donkey, but it's cool that there's a game coming out and it looks like a really cool game. So hopefully it's successful.
I didn't personally care for his takes on what he thought of development, but like what I mean, if
make
the
a good game,
ends up being a good game,
yeah.
Who am I to disagree?
Yeah.
Crema Clock, by the way, looked really cool as well. I don't know what this game is about, but the art style and kind of like the photography element to it, I thought was pretty neat.
Yes. Apparently it's like a time travel detective sort of thing. Time deduction game, I think, is what it describes itself as. But yeah, the art style is cool, but I don't know if it's for me particularly.
I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit. One of the bigger games that Bro has been talking about pretty much all year. Where is it? Well, we know where it is. It's coming soon. Oxenfree 2, Lost Signals, July 12th, 2023.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So happy that it's finally coming.
Yeah.
Man,
Coming
I
to
love
basically everywhere except Xbox.
Why?
Yeah.
But it makes sense because the studio is owned by Netflix, and Netflix is really trying to bolster its games. So when we think Xbox, we think Game Pass.
Yeah.
And
okay. That does make sense.
Yeah. Don't want that
Kind of a
overlap.
bummer, but yeah. So excited.
But if you have Netflix, you can play Oxenfree too.
Yeah.
Wait, does this included with Netflix subscription then? Is that what?
Yeah, if you have Netflix, you have Netflix games.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Just can't share your password.
Maybe I'll try this on Netflix then, just for the heck of it. Because I played the original on Xbox and loved it, and I told you guys that I'd probably get it for Switch, but if it's included in Netflix, I might try it out on there and just see what it's like before I get it on Switch.
Bro, did you check out this Chance of Sinar game?
Chance of Sinar. Is it on this list here?
Yeah, it's on this list.
Trying to find it. No, I don't think I have. Chance
That was my only question. I was very curious. The art style.
Oh, okay.
A lot of these indie games, like the art style, kind of pulls me in. I don't know if they'll end up being good or not, but like they look pretty.
This was from the sizzle reel. I kind of zoned out for that part, to be honest. But it does look cool. The art style definitely looks cool. I think the big one from that sizzle reel that I saw a lot of people, at least on my timeline, freaking out about was Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, which apparently is like a successor. Oh, sorry. Sorry. My bad.
What are you doing here?
Sorry.
Two more real quick I wanted to mention where Escape Academy gets its DLC, or sorry, the complete edition, with all DLC included, is coming to Switch on in the fall. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach coming. Oh, it's out right now. And then yes, as Ro so wonderfully alluded to, Bomb Rush Cyberpunk is indeed coming to Switch, but more importantly, this is where we got its release date. That is coming August 18th, 2023.
Indeed. It is apparently a Jet Set Radio successor by an indie studio that I'm blanking on the name of again. But yes, some people were, obviously everyone was excited to see the release date, but people were also like, that's how you're going to show it off? This game deserves more than that. And I agree. Very exciting stuff.
I do agree.
I feel like this art style like hides the fact that this is on the Switch very well. Like this looks really cool.
Yeah, it has a really cool art style.
And maybe it'll run at 30 frames instead of 60 though.
True.
God damn it.
Okay. We mentioned Netflix games not that long ago. Let's go ahead and talk more Netflix games. Got some huge news this week. Joseph Staten, previously at Xbox, announced that he's joining Netflix Games as creative director for a brand new AAA multi-platform game, and that is original IP. Before we even get into Netflix games as a topic here, Dan, Joseph Staten fan.
Yes.
How are you feeling about this? But were you expecting him to go to Netflix?
No, I wasn't. But I guess it makes sense because obviously if he's going from a role at Microsoft in the publishing team, obviously he's probably paid pretty well there. And I know he oversaw a lot of projects for Microsoft. So him being basically, grabbed by Netflix makes sense because Netflix is probably just going to throw a bunch of money at him, and say, hey, we want to do this cool thing. And remember, Joe was also kind of pulled away from 343 after he was seemingly reinvigorated by the franchise, rejoining the franchise after so many years. But so that probably weighed on him a little bit as well. But I'm interested to see what this turns into. Obviously, this seems like a AAA thing with them saying multi-platform, but like that's going to be a long time of this in development because it's literally just starting now. Like, yeah,
I would call this like what pre-production.
Yeah.
You know, do they even have a team put together? You know what I mean? What's the studio looking like?
And some people are speculating like who he's going to be bringing on board. Actually, Frank O'Connor, who is was franchise director of 343, just left 343 this past week as well. Many people in the community have been calling for his head the last few years because of Halo reasons. So I'm wondering if he's going to join Joe because those two worked very closely together with Halo 2 and Halo 3 and Halo Reach's development. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. And see what team he can build, you know?
Yeah. I was pretty like adamant in our private chat that like this kind of pissed me off a little bit. Most of the way my thinking comes from a lot of the film side where like I'm happy that Netflix is throwing tons of money at like auteur directors to just do whatever they want. Case in point, you know, Martin Scorsese twice now, both with The Irishman and upcoming Killers of the Flower Moon. But they're like terrible at like, first of all, even getting this out theatrically. They want streaming to boost. And as numbers have pointed out on various films and various different streamers, that it just isn't viable. They just like are like hemorrhaging subscribers and a lot of, actually they went up in subscribers, but I won't get into that. But like, what do we do if you're making like these like huge movies? Do you not want them to like have all these accolades that come out with them? And to do so, you got to put them out theatrically. You got to get more eyes on them, and just streaming just when there's so much competition that doesn't end up working. So my worry with Netflix games, as they've been quietly like putting together, you know, a category of what I would call like great indies for sure. There's still a lot of people who don't realize that they have Netflix games, right? And I'm not convinced that they're aware even of how long the timeline is to make. First of all, just to make a game, but to make a AAA game, that is years down the line. 5 at the least, I would say, when you're starting from scratch like this. It's going to take a long time and a lot of money to invest. What is that going to look like? Will this even come out? I don't know. It's a big question mark, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you were saying, the way that they even treat their own original content sometimes it makes me question if they're going to stick with this. And I think that's my biggest question is if they are aware, like you were saying, Christian, if they're aware of how long it takes and if they are willing to commit to that time. Because even shows that are out and people enjoy, they axe and cancel. So let alone a game that's in development. But I'm hopeful. Like this is exciting. Joe Staten. I would love to see what Netflix can do or what he can do at Netflix. I mean, I want more games. More games, great, fantastic. But more good games. More good games is what we want. Dan, you were going to say. Oh, Christian.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
If Dan wants to go first, please.
No. Go for it.
My other thing is like, what is the Venn diagram of people who are gamers and people who are Netflix subscribers look like? I would argue that there's a lot more people who are watching Netflix casually to like watch Friends or whatever than they are interested in games. Like, do they have something to play games on? Like, obviously the phone is a huge one. You can see Dan. Whoa. Obviously you can play games on your phone, right? But like if we're thinking of AAA, like I'm thinking like a huge caliber game. You're going to want like a PC or like some kind of console to play that on. And granted, if Netflix is just a publisher, then that's one thing, right? But still, I can't help but like worry about their demographic a little bit. And what that even looks like of playing games on like a AAA game on Netflix. Hard to imagine. Granted, they could totally like prove me wrong and put out something cool. And all of a sudden Netflix Games is like this huge publisher. And it's like, wow, they're actually putting out great stuff. I would love to see something like that happen, right? But it's still a very big asterisk for me at this moment.
And like the other thing is that we haven't really touched on is like bigger companies than Netflix have tried to enter the gaming space at no avail.
Apple,
Google,
True.
yeah,
Amazon.
I mean,
with Crucible,
right?
They're trying again, but yeah.
So like, if those companies can't succeed in gaming to break through, and Netflix, I don't know.
And now Amazon is doing the publishing route too. They're not making games, like helping push them out, right? Like with the Tomb Raider stuff.
Yes, that's true.
So it'll be interesting to see if Netflix pivots to that. If this one doesn't go well, and they try to still stay in the games industry, even though their first endeavor doesn't go well. But I hope that it goes well. And if it doesn't go well, they still try again and just don't give up, because I feel like a lot of big companies with the money to throw at this stuff and keep trying to eventually get it just give up really quickly these days, which I guess they're in the business of making money. But I don't know, you got to fail a few times before you get that one diamond in the rough that everybody loves, I guess. Sometimes you get lucky, but that doesn't always happen.
Inshallah, we're proved wrong, though. And Dan's a big Joseph Staten fan. He believes in him. If Dan believes in him, maybe we should as well.
We'll see if he's given the time.
That's true. I threw this into news of the week because I think it's worthy enough of a little bit of a discussion, and also just if it's nicer in a tweet when I can say XDefiant impressions, beta impressions. So Ubisoft has another round of their closed beta for its FPS game XDefiant, which a lot of people are split on. I've seen some people just do not like it. They think of it as a COD clone, that it's another Ubisoft kind of flop. They're just chasing after trends and not doing it feels a little bit maybe heartless. Other people are saying this is what Call of Duty hasn't done in a long time, which is get back to what it used to be, which is just like fast-paced action, a lot of movement and mobility, and they are loving it. I've played it, thanks to Dan, but Dan has played it as well. I want your thoughts first.
Yes. So I played 2 matches, and I think I put in our DMs that man, I actually had a lot of fun with this. This is a lot of fun. And then I didn't ever message back, but I was talking to Gage about it because I had played 2 more matches after those 2 matches, and it quickly changed my mind, and I was like, no, I don't like this at all. So I went from man, I really am enjoying this to I'm not enjoying this at all. And I did play, to be fair to it, I did play a different game mode the second 2 matches, so maybe it was just the game mode that I wasn't feeling, but I don't know. The biggest problem for me right now is it feels like a cheap Call of Duty knockoff, essentially, with Ubisoft branding. And
yes,
and the biggest issue for me is gameplay wise is the network latency, because I don't know how many times I was freaking going around a corner, count to 3 at least, and I'm getting killed around the corner. I'm like, all right, surely we have better network, setups than this, Ubisoft, to be able to handle, online competitive multiplayer experiences. Obviously they have Rainbow Six Siege, which they're able to do it there. So I don't know. It felt really bad in terms of network performance.
If you've seen the meme, Product X from Wish, this is what that feels like. This feels like Call of Duty from Wish. I'm with you, Dan. I played 3 games. I did well in all of them. I'll say I was around a 2 KD, either plus or minus. And none of it ever felt good. I thought movement felt off. Sliding, there's a little bit of a slide, or that didn't feel good. And then shooting just felt entirely off. And I'm with you. Out of those 3 games, it feels like a very cheap Ubisoft knockoff of Call of Duty. And I don't know, sure, people like to move around a lot in Call of Duty, and they can get that from XDefiant. But let's be real. King of the FPS is going to be what the gunplay is like. I'm going to keep it real. I did not feel like any of these guns felt good to shoot.
And they weren't even there wasn't much variety either, because so many all of the maps I think that I played were all so close quartered that why would you use a fucking sniper rifle? There's so many there's no sight lines at all. It's just
I'm with you. It's pretty. I do like the kind of I guess the color of it compared to Call of Duty's a lot more muted, grays and browns now. doesn't feel as lively as the old Call of Duty of that old era that we think of, Modern Warfare 2. The most fun, honestly, that I had with XDefiant was when it splinters off from Call of Duty. Like when I'm hopping, because you have like different characters that have different abilities, and they have supers after you perform well and you get your ability. That was like, oh, this feels fun and different. This is kind of where I was finding the fun, but at the end of the day, it's still kind of a cheap COD knockoff. And I don't know how people will flock to this when it's out, because it is a free to play first person shooter. But will they stick around? I don't think so.
That was going to be my question. Like, you guys keep saying that it's like a cheap Call of Duty knockoff, and I would just ask, why not just play Call of Duty? And then there's the follow-up rebuttal to that. It's free to play, and then a rebuttal to that, they have a Warzone, which is free to play. And my question would be, is this going to be another like Hyperscape situation where a couple months down the line they just decide not to support it anymore when they see potentially it's not doing as well as they hoped? Or maybe it is good, like maybe people flock to it and they enjoy it and they think it's a good alternative to Call of Duty. I guess it's too early to answer that question, but I wonder, do you guys, after playing it, think that Ubisoft will support this in the long term, or is this another just let's see if it sticks, and if it doesn't, see you guys later sort of thing?
Especially that it's a free-to-play game, I think they will ditch this thing quickly if it doesn't do well, because if they're not making money from it, then why?
Right, that's true.
Yeah. The thing for me is, like, the reason I think part of why it's doing so well currently is that the Call of Duty community is not happy with kind of the support for it right now. Like, it hasn't been fun for a while, and Activision just included a pretty much pay-to-win pack in the store for like DMZ and Warzone. But like they're a little bit frustrated, so naturally they're gonna go to other stuff if they're not finding the fun in Call of Duty, But it's Call of Duty. People like, in the next update, people will go back. In the next game, people will go back. I think of this more of like, what was not a Hyperscape, because that kind of was a little bit down on arrival. I think of this as more of like a Splitgate. I know I love it, and it had its time. It was like shining for, I would call, a month, maybe max, where people were playing this and they were having their fun because it was another free-to-play game. But it's still kind of a knockoff of other games, right? And after a while, people kind of started, moving away, and then months later, it's gone now.
Dude, that game.
So I'm seeing that kind of go the same.
That game is literally Halo 4 with portals. Like, that's what's so fun. I'm sorry. We're going down a Splitgate tunnel. It's so funny.
You are, not we.
I know. I'm sorry. Ugh.
There you have it. Those are our XDefiant impressions. Find out if it stays around in the long run by sticking to Podcast PXN. We'll let you know. Let's move on over. Well, hold on. I forgot to include the fantasy draft check and stuff today. We have any updates? Dan said Burning Shores.
Yes, there's only four reviews right now for it, but the last I saw, it was in the 80s, and it's already been it's 83. There's 4 reviews. It's already been scored though. 83. Yeah, I'm sure there will be more reviews once more people play it, but yeah, take it.
Oh, we also have next week. Also Dan. Oh,
no way!
Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which I'm expecting to be around the 80s as well. I think
might surprise you.
I don't know, man. I watched that trailer, that final gameplay trailer.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. It was the one that we covered 2 weeks ago, where it was like the full like 10-minute video. It still looks a little janky. Let's be real.
Yeah, I think so. Also, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next week, bro. Until then, Dan, what you got for me?
What do I have for you? I have XDefiant, and we just talked about that. So I really don't have much more to add. That was kind of my impressions of it. The network issues, I think, are something that Ubisoft needs to iron out to get me interested in even trying it out in the future, because that did not feel fun at all. Like getting shot around corners and like I know, here we go again, Daniel, going back to Halo, but people often talk about Halo Infinite's network issues, which are minuscule in comparison to this. Like, oh my god, the amount of times that I was 10 feet around a corner and I got killed, I'm just like, this is absurd. I can't do this. This isn't a competitive shooter. This is me getting frustrated at poor performance. So, yeah, that's all I got. You know, Halo Infinite, still playing that, of course. You know,
I'm amazing. I combined amazing and incredible because I couldn't think of a word to say. Incredible. Bro, what do you got for us?
I still have nothing for you guys to report. I've been a little busy. I've been working on a video as well that I hope is going up soon, maybe next week or the week after. So I've been working on that. But Christian has shared with me 2 games that I was able to add to my wish list, one of which is not going to be coming out anytime soon, I don't think, which was Hollow Body, which is a horror game. And everybody in the chat was like, why would you suggest this to Rashan? He hates horror. What are you talking about? But Christian remembered that I played Podcast PXN, at least top 3, Signalis, Game of the Year last year, and I loved it. And that's a horror game. And I think it has to do with art style. And when a game is spooky and it has a good art style, it's hard for me to resist these days. And I just want to enjoy. I want to be in that universe. And if Resident Evil did something like this, like a little smaller title, I might play it. I might play it.
They are.
Right, they are.
Oh, I'm sorry, Silent Hill. I'm thinking Silent Hill. Silent Hill F.
Okay.
And
that did look cool, though. That did look cool. That might be too spooky. I might be speaking on my butt now.
Townfall is the one that I'm thinking of, which is the no-code Silent Hill. And no-code is great. Dan's doing something.
I think he wants me to play Resident Evil 4.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I do want to play Resident Evil 4, but I get scared. I get spooked. And another one that he shared with me was called The Snow is Red Prologue. And it's like a visual novel sort of thing. And it's spooky, but it's right up my alley. So thank you, Christian. So I might play the Snow is Red Prologue because that's already out and it's free. So maybe next week I'll be able to talk about that. But still got nothing.
Bro, you and I have very similar like taste, like a pull for like a certain kind of horror aesthetic. But I think you're allowed to call yourself a certain kind of horror fan. Like there is one subsect of horror that you like, kind of will enjoy. Yeah.
Okay. I like this. I like this horror. It's like it's creepy, but it's not over the top in your face. I feel like I could be wrong, but I feel like it doesn't make me have nightmares.
Dude, you've been pumping these videos out, man. I don't know how you do it. I've been stuck on a project for a long time. It's just for months, 4 to 5 months of me working on this.
I cannot wait, and I think you put more into it than I do. But yeah, I'm very excited for your video as well.
I've been playing more Resident Evil after my friends left. I got back in it. I'm almost done, and I think I don't know. I think they did Salazar a little bit dirty. I think I think I enjoyed more of the campiness of original RE4, and I've actually kind of soured a little bit on the knife parry mechanic. I don't think it was as implemented well enough into the game. Like RE4 Remake was not built around this parry mechanic. It was more included, right? And it kind of falls apart for me a little bit. Still a great game. Let's not kid ourselves. Still stunning. You know what I mean? I'm having tons of fun with it. 8 out of 10 probably by the end of it. Just like the original for me. 8 out of 10.
8? Not an 11 out of 10?
Oh my gosh.
RE2 Remake still to go.
Still to go. But it was still fantastic, yes.
Yeah. I've also been playing a little game, a little DLC called Lightfall.
Oh no way!
Destiny 2 Lightfall. I am back on Destiny, and let me preface this. So my buddies are in town, right? And one of them, big Destiny player, he's the guy. Me, him, and one other friend, we were in on Destiny 1 before the jump. Like we were in on the alpha and the beta, and we had tons of fun. Played Destiny 1 all the way through. We played Destiny 2. They stuck with it after I bounced, and they were trying to pull me back in. I hadn't think. What was the one before Witch Queen? Beyond Light.
Yeah.
I think that's where I fell off. And they were trying to get me to jump back in. I wasn't having it. So my friend comes to visit. We're walking down the waterfront of Portland, just talking. And my friend goes, just play Destiny with us, man. Like, he got 2 of our other friends in it. So that would make 4 of us. And then we have 2 more people in like the clan. And 2 of them have never raided before. And I'm like, they haven't raided before? Yeah, dude. And if you joined, we would have 6. It would be a full clan fire team going into this raid. And it would be perfectly like balanced, where it's 2 hunters, 2 titans, 2 warlocks.
Beautiful.
And I knew it was on sale. Right? And I knew it was on sale. And right then and there, I opened my phone, went on the PS app, bought it, downloaded it. And yeah, I think I've played like 2 days now, and I think I'm one mission. I'm on the last mission of the campaign, around 1750 light level, and excited to get over 1800 and start raiding.
What do you think about that campaign?
I was going to say, as someone who's
not very good.
What do you
No.
Not very good. No.
Like, I think like 1 or 2 missions in, I think the second mission, it does the Bungie thing, where the Destiny thing, where you make your ghost scan a door, and you're having to stand there waiting for 3 rounds of enemies to kill, and then you keep progressing. Like, yep, this is Destiny, all right. But then the later levels are pretty good. Like, there's some interesting designs and kind of what I would call like dungeons and raid mechanics built into the campaign missions, that it's getting more interesting. Very kind of sad that it's towards the end of the campaign where like things start getting more interesting. Have no fucking idea what the Veil is.
No one
Just
does.
like you guys were saying. I have no idea what the Veil is. I even watched a 4-hour supercut of like story to catch myself up on D2. No idea what
Still
the Veil
don't
is.
know, because they never mentioned it before.
I beat the campaign with Ro, and I still don't know what it is.
God. Apparently, we're going to be getting some additional information on the Veil in like upcoming in the next season or something. So I'm looking forward to that. But I would assume that it should have been part of this, the one where it's like the main the main topic of discussion. But what do I know? I don't write Destiny. Maybe I should, but I don't.
Yeah.
All this to say.
Especially for people like me that only play the expansions.
Mm.
Not like the seasons or whatever.
Yeah.
Fun as hell to play, though.
Fair. Very, very fun.
If you ever want to run a Nightfall or whatever,
let's go.
You know where I'll be. In orbit. Waiting for PXN. All right. Let's move into our topic of the show. We've got the race for Game of the Year 2023. We've got I wrote down 3 games that we can kind of pin. And that's 1 game for each kind of main console. 1 on Switch, 1 on PlayStation, and 1 on Xbox. It is multi-platform, but we still think of this as an Xbox game. Can you guess what it is, listener? Because we'll talk about it here in a second. This a couple days ago, we got a last Thursday, we got 2 huge videos. The first one was the final trailer for the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. It's a 3-minute long story trailer. And before, I was kind of in on it. They had like a mini direct where they had like a 10-minute presentation on Zelda. But I think for a lot of people, like, they were kind of still like question marks for like, is Tears of the Kingdom going to be a like huge sequel? Is it going to be like worth $70? Is there hype for this game? And I think it's safe to say this 3-minute video sold a lot of people. Like, this trailer was fucking incredible. I'm gonna stop talking. Ro's seen it, I'm sure. Dan has seen it.
God, I can't stop watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it 3 times. Ro, what do you think?
I thought it was incredible. This is like one of I think a lot of gamers say this, especially a lot of Zelda fans and Nintendo fans say this, that one of their favorite trailers, or if not one of their favorite gaming trailers of all time, is the Breath of the Wild 2017 trailer.
It's so good.
That came out. It's so good. The music, the build-up, just like the ambiance of the environments, and they did the exact same thing with this trailer. I don't know if I love it as much as I love the first one, but it's at least on the same level. It's so good. They did the exact same thing that they did with the first trailer, where they like slowly build it up, show you the world, and then they get into some voiceover and some incredible music. There's a saxophone at one point. It's like, wow, this is just so good. and Ganondorf is back. I saw like people talking about how few times we've actually seen Ganondorf in Zelda, and I didn't realize how few
I
it
didn't
was.
believe it.
I was like, wow, we really don't see this character a lot. I just associate him so much with the games, but he isn't around very much, so it's even more hyped. Like, wow, we're getting Ganondorf again. But yeah, there are some really cool moments in there where you're like fighting again alongside some champions and some just NPCs. It looked like, yeah, I think this is going to be worth the $70 based off of this trailer as well. I was definitely even more sold than I already was just from this 3-minute long trailer. But yeah, I mean, we'll only know until when we play it. But from what we've seen so far, I definitely think this is going to be a worthy sequel.
Dan, your thoughts?
Yeah. Watch this trailer, and I think I immediately put in the chat, like, well, I don't know, a few days later, I was like, I very much am tempted to buy the OLED Tears of the Kingdom right now because the battery life. Oh, that's
right.
Yeah. The battery life is way better than my OG
handheld
Switch. Yes, and I play only handheld. Literally played all of Breath of the Wild on handheld only. And yes, this game looks so good. I'm so excited. And it also, I was on such a tear. I was like, man, I could go back and play Breath of the Wild right now, like, and do a replay. But then I'm like, no, I don't want to do that because I do that too often where I play the original and then the sequel comes and I'm like, all right, I'm not playing as much as this because I already spoiled myself. No, I'm not doing it. Actually, I did debate buying Skyward Sword because I've never played Skyward Sword. And
apparently that's a pretty good lead up into this one, so I've heard from more people.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Not my favorite. That's probably the weakest Zelda for me, if I'm being honest, but still good.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know.
It's up to you. I haven't played it either. I mean, I haven't. You've played it, but I haven't played it either.
Any Zelda game that I've played is like, wow, this is one of the best games I've ever played in my entire life, except for Skyward Sword. I'm like,
no,
this is cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just random question for you guys. Have you guys played the DS Zeldas, like Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks?
Yeah.
I really like those games. I don't think those get enough love. But that was just
I don't remember them at all, dude.
No, I mean, a lot of people don't. Yeah.
I played a lot of games on DS. I'm like, in 1 ear, out the other, basically. Like, remember Mario Hoops 3-on-3? I played that. I played the Star Fox games on DS. I don't remember them.
What a handheld.
A great handheld. One of the reasons why I love this trailer so much, well, first of all, the Koji Kondo score is fucking insane. It's really good. But my major gripes with Breath of the Wild that I already mentioned is like the lack of proper dungeons. Like what are they called? I'm blinking.
Shrines.
The Divine Beasts. Yeah.
Divine Beast.
They never felt as complex as proper dungeons. It just felt like longer kind of shrines to me. By the way, it does look like shrines are returning. You can just see them on the ground in various points of this trailer. But there are like moments in the Tears of the Kingdom, this trailer, where like it straight up looks like these bosses and like the lead up to them are way more complex than what they were in Breath of the Wild. And that alone was like, oh my god, even if it's not proper dungeons, like these lead ups still look awesome. I'm seeing like Link float jump super high up in the air into like water bubbles that are just flying in the sky. You know what I mean? And bro, this trailer did the thing that we talked about 2 weeks ago. I was like, what if the title moment of this game is just like Link falling and then they bring up Tears of the Kingdom? And they did that in the trailer. That's probably the start of the game. I can't wait, dude.
God, I cannot wait as well. It's going to be so fun to see what people, like we said the last time we were looking at this trailer. I'm just repeating myself at this point, but it's going to be so cool to see what people do with the abilities and what they craft and what they do to enemies and people. It's like, God, it's going to be so cool.
My TikTok algorithm has been a lot of Breath of the Wild videos of stuff I still have not seen or knew what this game like you could do.
Yeah,
people are still finding stuff out now, and Tears of the Kingdom is like less than a month away.
Yeah,
developers popped off.
They did.
They put their whole Legacy into Breath of the Wild. I'm sure they'll do the same for Tears of the Kingdom. For the sake of time, I'm going to now shift over into the same day. Sony had a state of play specifically for Final Fantasy XVI. They got a 25-minute state of play, and I broke down everything. If you have not seen the state of play, do so. They did the thing where it's like they let the game speak for itself. They'll talk for like a minute and then just let the action just go, and then come back 3 minutes later, just give one more extra detail and kind of shift. And it was fucking great. I actually stopped the state of play 10 minutes and I was like, I've seen enough. And then my friend goes, hey, what if we got high and watched the video from the beginning again? And I was like, okay, let's do it. And it was great. So the vibes were definitely there. I think what we talked about already is that we know that this game is, what this video says is developed first as an action RPG, the very first action RPG in the series. We've called this Witcher May Cry because we've seen that online. And a big emphasis in FF16 is big set pieces as well as intense action. So I broke it down into story, world, and combat, and I'm going to go through it. Listeners at home, if you're listening to this, just mute the state of play as we talk and watch it. You play as Clive, that's the protagonist, in 3 distinct periods of his life: his teens, his 20s, and his 30s. The story begins in Clive's 20s with a playable flashback playing a pivotal role in Clive's story. The world is set in the realm of Valisthea, and as we've discussed before, it's taking huge inspiration from Game of Thrones. So the setup for FF16 are like these family members who are like kind of like at ends and like kind of fighting each other. So very inspirational from like Game of Thrones. Some characters you'll meet along the way. Sidolphus, he's Clive's mentor. He's played by Ralph Ineson. If you have seen movies there's this very specific deep voice. Like he plays the Green Knight in the Green Knight. Like he's in it. It just sounds wonderful to hear this man speak in a game. Jill, a friend from Clive's youth you can encounter along the way. And a lot of the companions that you do encounter in FF16 will join your party on quests. All the companions are fully AI driven. You're only controlling Clive, with one exception: your dog companion, Torgal. You can give him direct commands. You can also give him treats.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I'm going to interrupt myself for a second to say, did anybody else watch the State of Play?
I didn't get to watch the whole thing. I watched a bit of it and I haven't gone back to it yet. I would say, maybe 10 minutes into it. So I got to see like the combat and like, yeah.
That's enough.
I've been watching it while you've been talking, and this actually might be up. Yeah,
it's
this
wild.
might actually be up my alley. With it being more action focused and not turn based.
Let's go.
Yeah, I might have to check this out. Now, do I have to have any other knowledge of Final Fantasy to play this? Okay.
The video starts with this saying, you don't have to know anything, because every Final Fantasy game is independent.
Okay. Which sometimes developers say that, and it's not necessarily true. So that's why I was checking.
Like, unless it's like, how would I explain?
Final Fantasy 13 had like sequels, but besides that, all of the Final Fantasy games are independent.
Different universe every time.
Yeah,
stuff like that. Yeah. Some details on the world. We got to look at the world map. The world map was pretty. I just wanted to bring that up. Of course, fast travel is in the game. It's in a lot of open world RPGs. Art direction and music, again, was insane. I wanted to highlight that. Some notes here that the state of play took some time to explain. There is a hideaway you can unlock along the way of the story, or that's where you can find merchants. There's crafting, side quests, training, hunting boards, a lot of stuff here. Two stuff I found really interesting. Not a lot of games do this. There's the Loresman. He has an actual name, but I think Loresman is part of it. And he studies the history and customs of the realm. So along the way, you can talk to him about the adventures you've had, and you can unlock the secrets of the 1,000 tomes. So they mentioned that you want to be talking to him like when you go visit the hideaway. This was insane. There's a woman here called Vivian Ninetails. She's a scholar and strategist here in Valisthea, and you talk to her to learn about the current state of the realm, so that you can look at like the family trees and see how like what people think of each other, and she'll explain key events in the timeline in like as it's happening and as it's being updated, and you can learn more about individual characters and those families, as I mentioned, which is just insane.
That is awesome. There's like, if this wasn't Final Fantasy 16 and I wasn't looking at the trailer and seeing how cool it is, there's a lot of games that don't do this specifically, but do like a lot of, you could talk to this character and they'll tell you this, and I just usually pass by that. But like most recently, Tales of Arise was a game that had a lot of that, and I did that because I loved the world and I just wanted to do that for as long as I could. And I love that they have the lore master, whatever his name was, and what was this lady's name?
Vivian Ninetales.
Vivian Ninetales. I love that there's just so much world building already from the get go from this game, that you just exist in this already beautiful world as long as you can.
What's cool about this is that you don't just get history; you also get like updates along the way.
Yeah.
Like if you step away from what is probably a long RPG, put it down for a while, and then end up coming back, you can just go talk to her and remember. Oh, that's right. Yeah, this is where I was, and this is what was going on. Nice. But obviously, the biggest highlight is like, well, what are you doing, right? And well, it's an action RPG, so combat is huge. They let the combat really speak for itself. Like the PS5 is shining with its like beautiful like particle effects and just like visual sword effects just going everywhere. Of course, the game is not turn-based; it's real-time combat. We mentioned Witcher May Cry. The May Cry part of it is the combat. Clive's abilities on screen, the screen effects is going crazy, is what I wrote. Not an actual detail. I just wanted to mention that. Ability points. If you do not want to be messing around with ability points, you can set the game to auto spend, and it suggests where you should be spending them, saving you maybe some frustration along the way. This I thought was really cool. FF16 will include accessories to help players who are newer to action games. You can equip them to make the game easier. What they talked about in the State of Play was the Ring of Timely Focus, which is a window of slow motion when Clive is about to be attacked. You have like a little ring pop up, and if you push the dodge button in that time, you'll dodge, so it makes it easier. And they also included the Ring of Timely Strikes, so you can be using a wide array of different techniques that Clive has unlocked by pressing just a single button. So you don't need to be worrying about having to switch abilities and memorizing all this stuff. You just put this ring on, and you just push your attack buttons. Boom, you're using the abilities that you've already unlocked. You can equip an accessory also that fully automates evasion altogether if that is even too much for you. So barriers are coming down. More importantly, too, for people who like just don't care about action, want to focus on the story, there's a story-focused mode where from the get-go, you will have the timely accessories automatically equipped and unlocked from the start. Don't got to worry about it. But the biggest draw to FF16's combat are the icons, which are both fights against and fights as a colossal beast, where people are transforming into these combats, and these fights are all in real time. This is where like the big set pieces are going, and they wanted to highlight that there are a lot of icon versus icon battles, and that's the shining point of the game. And then depending on these encounters for these icons, the game will like shift kind of genres a little bit depending on these encounters. So one icon fight may be something akin to a 3D scrolling shooter. Another one will be more akin to a heavyweight wrestling match. It's all going to depend on who it is that you're fighting. Will dictate that kind of play style. And it's really worth just checking out the end of the video to see what these are looking like, because they're really wild, dude.
I literally just fast forwarded to like that section right before you started talking about this, and I'm just like watching it like this looks awesome. Like
it's God of War-esque kind of like scales. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And they ended this 20-minute video by saying, and there's still plenty that we've left to reveal. Battle content, side content, endgame content, and more. They're gonna do something else before the game even comes out in June. Sure, I'm already sold, dude.
Insane. Yeah, this looks incredible. Zelda is on my like top right now. Right below it is this for sure. This looks so much fun. I cannot wait.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I think you guys have sold me on it at this point. I had not watched the State of Play, and now I might be sold on this, I think, at this point. And that auto upgrade system that you're talking about, Christian, I love that, because like sometimes I get anxiety trying to figure out which upgrade paths to take, and I'm like,
I'm with you.
I don't yeah, that's really cool.
Because like RPGs can be super dense, dude. Like they're throwing a lot of layers at you. And for them to be like, Square Enix just to be like, you know what, like, let's make this as accessible as possible. Like, it's not turn-based, it's real-time combat. People are familiar with that. But more importantly, like, let's remove those barriers of like frustration with all these like sub-menus. And like, if you don't want to mess around with that, boom, auto, all this stuff, go on and keep enjoying the game. Which I think is just like really like a really neat approach to RPGs.
Options.
I do think it's worth, like, if you haven't seen it, at least watch 5 minutes of this video. It's kind of insane what like the ambition this game is going for.
You guys would know the answer to this. Keurig says, "Is this the first Final Fantasy with real-time combat?"
It is not.
7 gets close. 7 remake,
Yeah.
I think gets close.
Okay,
that's real-time combat, but you're still like
Casting
doing
spells.
commands and casting spells. Yeah.
gotcha.
Which I think you do here too. I think this just takes it a step further, where, yeah, there's literally no turn-based anything.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I guess Final Fantasy XIV. That's a MMO though, but I think it's real time technically.
15 sort of as well.
Yeah, right. 15. Yeah.
15. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This just looks like Fantasy God of War, if I'm being honest, but with pretty sword effects. So I'm sold. After these two things released on the same day, people were, of course, on Twitter, as they always do, saying, "What about Xbox? Xbox, oh, in the gutter, not showing anything." Well, let's pump the brakes here a little bit. These games are coming out soon. That's why they're showing them off, right? They want to build anticipation. We know that Starfield is coming this year. Coming a little bit later. At the end of summer. August, September? I think September, right?
Yes, September. Yep.
And we already know that a Starfield Direct is coming in June. Granted, we don't know what that looks like, so we can't really talk about it as much. But it's going to be a huge game. I'm pretty safe to say that these are going to be like the three biggest games of 2023 are right here. And we're all talking about them right now. Starfield, which I think of as an Xbox game. They own Bethesda. Final Fantasy. And of course, Zelda. Are these games going to be in your Game of the Year list? Let's be real. Zelda's making our top fives. Right?
Yeah.
I certainly hope so. Yeah. As it stands, yes, for sure.
I can't think of anything else that will come out this year that will beat these games. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see RE4 remake being in that conversation. Like, and I'm thinking of, like, of course, like Jeff Keighley's Game Awards show, right? I'm thinking, like, is RE4 remake going to be in that like list of nominees? Maybe, but like Jedi Fallen Survivor. I'm already forgetting the name. Jedi Survivor.
Yeah, nailed it.
I can't see anything else coming out later in the year.
You're forgetting one of the biggest ones, Christian. Hi-Fi Rush. I don't think. Yeah,
no chance.
No, I
agree.
Chance. No, I agree. No, I agree with you. That's just one of my personal top picks right now. And RE4 remake is the other one. But you're right. Neither one of those will be nominated for Game of the Year for Jeff Keighley's show. And I don't think that remakes necessarily should be nominated for Game of the Year because it's at a certain point, you have to look at it and say they're taking something that already exists and just making it as good as they can. Like, they already know the successes and failures of the previous iteration. So I feel like remakes are kind of cheating in that regard. So I don't know. It's a tricky subject, I guess.
That feels different. This RE4 remake feel to me is like different than like Dead Space remake.
Oh yeah,
where it's not a 1-to-1. Like it's it's changed. So I think, like, I don't know if we're thinking about like, should it be in contention? I'd argue on the side of yes, because there's enough of like adaptation. But I get what you're saying for sure.
Yeah.
The only other game that I can see maybe entering this caliber of conversation is maybe Spider-Man 2. But we don't even know what that game looks like.
Yeah, we still need to start advertising it. Which I cannot wait for. I don't want to push back on the Hi-Fi Rush thing. I think it could be in Game of the Year category. Again, you guys know, I haven't played that many games this year. But even if I had, it would be the same ones that you guys have played, which is Resident Evil 4 and Dead Space. And if I played those games, I would assume I would still think that Hi-Fi Rush could make it. How many games get nominated? Like 9, 8? for
No.
like that slew?
For Game of the Year? Isn't it like 5?
5 or 6, yeah, I think. Yeah.
Okay. I still think they could make it.
Listen,
but
if Silk Song comes out, I'm sorry, Hi-Fi Rush is getting booted.
I'm just gonna check last year's ones.
Yeah,
that's fair. I don't know. I am just going off of what we know so far, I guess, which I guess is kind of silly because there's Starfield still to come.
Well,
and Spider-Man, like you said, but
yeah, and to your point, we haven't seen much of Starfield, and we haven't seen Spider-Man. So like Starfield, we got that little gameplay glimpse last year, and I think that didn't necessarily show us it could be a Game of the Year contender. I think it's going to be pivotal on what we see in June to really start entering that conversation of Game of the Year if what we see in June's really good from their direct. But yeah, I'm very excited for Starfield as well because it's the next Todd Howard game. You know, he hasn't made a game since Fallout 4. Technically, he had a little bit of oversight of Fallout 76, but at the end of the day, that wasn't his baby, so to speak. But
yeah, at the top of the show, I asked, is gaming back? And I asked that question because it feels like for a while, AAA kind of games have felt a little bit samey. Like they're all kind of doing not the same thing, but kind of similar things where they're being inspired from each other. That it kind of blurs together. And then we've got the launch of new consoles. It takes a while for things to kind of hit their stride. And so that's not to say games were bad last year, but it was it's tougher at some years to really like pick a game even before it comes out and be like, this feels like a Game of the Year contender. There are those games, right? But like, we haven't really hit that, I think, in the new generation yet until what I would say, if you want to argue a couple months ago when we first got to look at Starfield, sure. But I'd say even up until last week when we got an in-depth look at Zelda, at Final Fantasy, and knowing that Starfield is coming, it's like gaming is hitting its stride. Okay, I'll throw in Elden Ring. That was different enough to be like, yeah, this feels different and unique from like what I would say is the AAA gaming space. But when I look at these, like, sure, they're all RPGs in their own regard, but they're RPGs doing their own individual thing with their own art styles and like their own, what I call even like subgenres of RPG, that it still feels like, even though I'm going to be sinking hours and hours into role-playing as these people and in these areas, they'll still feel fresh and unique and exciting enough to be like, this experience was fucking incredible, and I'm going to remember this like for the whole year, obviously, but like for a while. And we're getting 3 of these in the same year.
You know what? Miyazaki was in the top 100 most influential people. Why wasn't Bill Clinton kid in that list?
Oh god. He's everywhere, man. He's everywhere.
Is he really?
He pops up in
everywhere. Oh my gosh.
It's wild. Kirk in the chat for like Game of the Year games mentions don't forget Hogwarts. Don't forget Hogwarts Legacy.
I already forgot.
I'm sorry.
We have a lot of Hogwarts fans in our chat.
Yeah, and it did really well, like sales wise. But was it a good game? Apparently, got good reviews. People
That's
like
true.
it.
They get reviews.
It.
That's true.
Yeah. I just wanted to go back again to the amount of games that get nominated. It was 6 last year, so it is closer to 5 than 9. So you guys are right. But I still think Hi-Fi Rush could be in that 6.
I'm with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what else could. You guys say Starfield?
Possibly.
Yeah. If Armored Core 6 hits, that's a shoo-in. Yes. Motherfuckers love From Software, and I'm one of them.
So here's what I have right now: Zelda, Final Fantasy XVI, RE4, Hi-Fi Rush, Starfield, Spider-Man. And if Armored Core does come out this year, you think it hits Hi-Fi Rush off of my list?
Oh no, off of your list, absolutely not.
Yeah,
no, Hi-Fi
Rush not like me personally, but if this was the list for Game of the Year, and Armored Core came out, what game would remove?
That's actually a really good question, because I think in this specific case, Armored Core is probably too niche of a game that it might not hit with actually a lot of people, even critics. Like, even though like we know from what From Software can do, it is like Armored Core games are insanely like mecha simulator where you have to be in it. Hi-Fi Rush is like jump into this like delight treat of give or take 10-hour game, enjoy it for what it is, have fun, have it be a memorable experience, and then move on to something else. People will look back and be like, I had a lot of fun with Hi-Fi Rush. The problem with it is that it came out really early in the year.
As people are going to remember.
People always forget them.
Yeah.
Which is so unfortunate. Like, and actually, sometimes games release in December and people forget about them because they're not eligible for that year's Game of the Year award. So,
Halo.
I'm not meaning Halo specifically, but like that does happen where games release in either mid-November or or into December, and then people just forget about it. I think Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order was in that exact situation as well. Not to say that it was a Game of the Year necessarily, but it came out late that year and then wasn't eligible until the next year.
Right. The point is, we're eating well.
Yes,
we are. Gaming is back.
Gaming is back for real. My summer, I've decided I'm not doing anything this summer. Girlfriends, who needs them? I'm gonna save so much money by staying home, eating edibles, and playing Zelda.
Hell yeah!
And going to the gym.
And you know what's 13 weeks from now, Christian? You're going to
play Zelda. Yes, I agree. Oh, I forget we've already announced this. Yeah. 200?
Yeah, episode 200. Live show.
I keep forgetting that, like, we get, like, for so long it was like, we can't say this.
Yeah.
It's still in my brain, like, we can't say it yet.
Yeah.
It's not announced, but yeah, I mean, I am excited to be. There's a lot of stuff we've said priorly about what we're going to do for 200. So.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. I'm not sure if we
get
can
shirtless. Anyway. Let us know what game you're most excited about. Keurig, I'm sure it's Quidditch. But until then, thank you again to everyone joining us live on YouTube and Twitch, as well as podcast services everywhere, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your pods. Thank you, Roshan. Thank you, me. Gage, enjoy napping and or work. Thank you, Daniel. This has been Podcast PXN, and we are out of here.
Much love, and keep on gaming.
See ya.
Wouldn't want to be ya.